Hey everybody, I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome to a full moon reading. We're going to be looking at, it's not just a full moon actually, it's a super full moon. So we're going to look at what's coming through in this full moon. I want to also look at like blessings and blocks, and then we'll do a pick a card at the end, okay? So without any further delay, let's begin. All right, I'm going to use this deck. I was looking at all the moon phases on this and I thought it would be perfect. So close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that the moon is shining down on you, creating a beam of light around your body. Let's invite in angels, spirit guides, ascended masters to help us. We're going to look at past, present, and future influences. Then I'm going to take a look at a blessing and a block for this full moon as well. And we'll begin also with a blessing and a block. Interesting. And we're going to keep it at that for now, and I'll pull extra cards as I need to. All right. So it feels like quite often I've been pulling the Seven of Cups. In the period of 3 days, it's come up 3 times. So let's talk about the Seven of Cups. This is expansive energy, and it makes sense because I just read it for the daily. So if you haven't already done so, this is a time to really take a step back, look at the big picture, and ask yourself the questions. How did I get here? What do I want to do next? And what am I missing? It's a card of being inquisitive. I like that we have Aladdin looking for the magic lamp here because there might be one thing that calls to you a little bit more. It actually reminds me of a scene in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, I think it was, where he has to go and pick that chalice out. Oftentimes in life, it's not the obvious choice. It's the one that just resonates for reasons unknown. And what I'm picking up on in this full moon for many of you is to trust. Trust your instincts. Trust the questions that come through, especially if it's saying like, why am I doing this? In a sort of rhetorical question like, why don't I try something else, right? So really pause for a moment and reflect. On a full moon in particular, journaling is great. Write it down, put it down on paper. Sometimes it makes sense later. I was just sharing something with a friend where for my dream journal, sometimes I'll do memos, whether it's recorded or typed. And I was like, this was exactly like 3 years ago. I had this instinct and it's just now coming to fruition. So you might be picking up on something that's going to lead you through the week or might help in a year or two from now. That's how intuition works. Take time to capture whatever's coming through. You might have a hard time focusing as you're listening to this reading tonight, and that's okay too. The world is a little bit chaotic right now. There's a lot going on. I think the important thing here is to ask yourself, what do you need to feel supported? What do you need to get through it? And if there's anything that's not clear, ask a question. Very much in alignment with what I put for the daily. I'm like, if it's not clear, ask. Make sure that you give other people a chance to ask you as well. Okay? One thing that I didn't get to talk about was daydreaming. So I mentioned dreams, and I kind of cut this because it was getting too long. So Spirit was like, you gotta go through the whole spiel. So here it is. I mentioned that dreams are important, but I didn't get to say in the daily that daydreams are important. I mentioned that children have this ability to imagine. I'd love for you to create some space to get back to what it is that is a dream or a daydream for you. Sometimes when you're not focusing, your mind is actually being drawn to what you're supposed to be paying attention to. So today, on Monday, or tomorrow morning, if you're watching this after you wake up, give yourself a chance as you're kind of in that mental fog to just think, what do I want? I mentioned that we never stop growing up in one of the recent weekly collectives. This card reminds us of that too. Why do we rush to try to grow up? This is a chance to just keep asking and dreaming, okay? Let's go through all the cards and then I'll talk about the blessing and the block. All right, so present energy. The world is feeling overwhelming. So this King of Pentacles is carrying the weight of the world on his back. When the card is reversed, something has to give. If it doesn't, health is going to step in and make you take a step back. So you may be feeling difficulty in like sleeping, concentrating. There may be also just stress that's working its way through your body, headaches, muscle aches and pains. Take care of yourself. when we get this paternal card reversed, it's saying now is a time to ask for what it is that you need, to also really make sure that you're pacing yourself. So in high school, I ran track and field for a little bit, and it's much harder to do long distance running than it is to do a sprint. On a sprint, you just use it all quickly, and it's whoever gets to the finish line first. On a long distance run, if you don't pace yourself well, you'll run out in the middle, or you won't have enough to get over the finish line. And it's a better metaphor for life. We have to keep pacing ourselves. Some days are going to require more gas, some will require less. You're going to have to kind of like pump the brakes a little bit and take care of yourself. Try not to overdo anything. This includes relaxing, so everything in moderation. Don't work too much, don't play too much, don't sleep too much. Find the middle. The middle is your friend, okay? If there's anything that you need or want in respect to more time, more resources, more support, this is also a time to create that balance because it might be lacking. And as you're looking at the week ahead in particular, ask yourself, what can I do to find my footing? Because a reversed Pentacles card, particularly the King of Pentacles, needs to be grounded just a little bit more, okay? Now, once you do that, we see movement happening here with the Page of Swords. So we'll look at blessings in a block in a moment. I just wanted to get through this first. Here we have the Page of Swords, which is showing that as we look at the week ahead, what really is opening up to you could be opportunities in communication. We talked also about like writing things down. You might be able to fill in the blanks. So one thing that I've been talking about over the past couple months is you don't have to have something done completely or perfectly the first time. You just need to find the sort of overall outline or form. For those of you that write, you know that it's good to have an outline so that you're not just ambling in this direction and that direction. Listen as much as you speak. Pages are only as good as their ability to observe and to integrate. Page of Swords is all about action and communication. When I'm looking at this page, and you see that little tiny canary next to him, he's listening or she's listening. So it's important to tune in just a little bit. The canary is interesting because, at least that's how it's reading to me. Canaries, if you think of the canary in a coal mine, sometimes you may be the first one to feel, to notice, or to pay attention to something. So you're the canary here in this sort of instance. And it's important not to ignore this because you might be able to steer things in a good direction or in the right direction and protect yourself from getting burned out, protect others from making a mistake, and it's about being the voice of reason, okay? All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to look at blessings and blocks. Apollo, come here, buddy. He's asking if he can have a treat. There you go, buddy. So, as always, he gets a little jealous when we do these readings, so we'll let him have his moment there. All right, now on to blessings and blocks. The blessing is good here. We have Secret Spring and Success. So some of you may be a little bit nervous about, can I do this? But the blessing is saying, yes, Six of Wands energy. But she also has a little bit of Six of Swords there too. Are you ready to take that step? What's holding you back? Sometimes we are just afraid of the attention. We're afraid of the, well, sometimes it's also the scrutiny. Because when you lead the charge, more people are paying attention to you. More people feel like they have a say in your life. Don't be afraid of that. At the end of the day, everyone has an opinion. And the older I get and the more that I kind of move through this life, the less I need to know everybody's opinion because it doesn't necessarily help you. If you know yourself, you can let the opinions kind of rain off you and continue to do what you're showing up to do. So I see the energy of success. Don't get in your headspace too much. The reason that you might be in your headspace, as we look at the block, we have stillness. So things may not be moving as quickly as you would like, or you're not getting the desired response. One thing that I wish I had done more of even like 10 years ago is just wait. Don't push something out the door if it's not fully baked. Like if there's a project that you're working on and you're not getting a reaction, sit with it a little bit. There's never going to be regret for making it a little bit better, getting it more done. If you rush something, you can't reset that opinion. So if there's something and you feel like you really do need to polish off the edges a little bit, go for it right now. We're looking at a month here anyway. A month isn't going to make or break something like that. The other thing here is there's a difference between being still and doing nothing. Stillness is tuning in. Doing nothing is like stagnation or inaction. Stillness is saying, I'm tuning in to figure out what are they saying, what are they doing, how do I feel, what's coming through intuitively. I need to be still in order to be able to observe and integrate these. Doing nothing is just ignoring all of it and not reacting. So be still and embrace the stillness and reflect on what it is that you, again, what kind of back to the first card here. How did I get here? What do I want? And how am I going to achieve that? The questions. I actually don't mind questions, and I think part of the spiritual path involves asking questions. It was part of the reason when I was growing up, my mom made me study a certain religion, and then at a certain point I'm like, why am I doing this? Do I have to do this? She said, nope. I just wanted you to get to a point where I gave you a chance to experience what I did. I said, okay, I don't want to do this. And she let me go in a different path, which was cool. Because she said, I think it's important to ask questions. Because she wasn't allowed to. She was always told by her teachers to have faith. Faith is part of it, but not blind faith. So I think it's good to ask questions, and that sometimes comes in the stillness. So always feel free to ask those questions. Okay, let's clear the table, and I'm going to do a couple of just whatever I want to in the flow cards, and then we're going to get into the pick a card portion, okay? So let's see what's coming through here. All right, simply put, what do you need to know in this moment right now? Success. Just like we saw, we have the success card, but it's reversed. Why do you need to know this right now? Okay, so we have the Six of Wands, which kind of interestingly enough here, this hummingbird is being led to. So sometimes we are almost like breadcrumbs led to a path of success. Like this is what you do in order to be loved, accepted, popular, etc. The reversal of this can represent a rejection of these predefined success milestones. So what you need to know is you get to decide now and moving forward what success looks and feels like, rather than having someone kind of have that flower or lure in front of you. You get to kind of define it. Also, once you've achieved something that you've worked hard to do, drink it in, just like the hummingbird there, okay? And then why do you need to know it? Well, one of the things here is that you have a chance to act, you can make it happen here. This is wish fulfillment. But don't let the intensity of a high or the painful energy of a low kind of like mold your vision too much. I've been talking about finding the middle, and I really do think that this is, for the latter part of the important thing, because there's so much going on around us that is in the very high highs and the low lows, that we have to find our center. So if you know who you are and if you know what you want, you'll always have the center, and you'll be able to more accurately and successfully accomplish your goals and dreams, okay? So that's the gift of this supermoon. Supermoon is named such because it just appears bigger in the sky. It's a little bit closer. The orbit of the moon is not perfectly circular. So there are times where it looks a little bit more distant. There's a time where it's a little bit closer. So we're feeling more intensity in this supermoon. Don't be surprised if you're a little bit more agitated or if you're a little bit more tuned in. All right, we're going to go to a pick a card portion. So the way that I kind of operate with pick a cards or you can ask like one question and then pick a number, 1, 2, or 3, and wait for me to get to that number. You could also just have 3 questions and we could look at each of the cards as an answer to that. Figure out how you want to do it and take a deep breath. Think of, for those of you asking a single question, now is the time to ask the single question. For everyone else, you can do it when I get to the particular cards. All right, so focus on what it is that you need. I'm going to pull the cards face down, and then we're going to go through it. 1, 2, 3. All right. So when you're ready, we're going to look at card number 1. 5 of Swords in reverse. So if you asked a yes or a no for this and chose card number 1, it's really important for you to turn off the inner voice that says you can't do it. Because if we look at this upright, you can see that those self-defeating thoughts can actually become self-fulfilling prophecies. We don't want that. So examples of this could be, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have luck with this. This isn't happening. Instead, put them into an affirmative or into an inquisitive form. I like to start with the inquisitive. How can I do this? When will I do this? Why can I do this? And the answer is you can. And then you can start to say, here's how I'll do it. Here's when I'll do it. I'm doing it. So you're going to flip around the inner saboteur and use the fears to create a plan. Okay? So that's one thing that you can do. But if you asked a yes or a no, it's a no until you are able to overcome that. So there's some sort of inner saboteur-like thought that is inhibiting or inhibiting your progress or creating a block, basically. If there's someone in your life that personifies what I've been talking about here, a naysayer, someone who also might be overly critical of you, or when you're conversing with them, they always have a way to throw a zinger your way or get under your skin. They're never truly listening. They hear you, but they don't really understand or integrate the message. It's in one ear and out the other. Then it's time to disconnect, okay? So there could be someone around you that's like that. It could be the inner saboteur, but there's a block that needs to be released before moving forward. And that's the main thing that I'm picking up on. See if there's anything else that I want to talk about. My guides are mentioning integrity. It's more connected to the 7 of Swords, but you could be looking at the integrity of someone else and you think to yourself, they're not taking accountability. So this can come through when someone, now they're saying like the blame game, and they're showing me someone pointing their fingers. So sometimes this is, it can be narcissistic behavior. It can be someone who just lacks the maturity, and everybody else is always the one to blame. So if you see someone like this, know this, you're not going to change them, and it's not worth your time. So a little bit of shadow energy to overcome on that. It's a not yet. If it's you and a path that you're looking at, it's just about kind of like building up your confidence. And then we can revisit it when I do the next pick a card. So not quite yet. All right. Moving on. One thing that you know, as I do these live streams, that's why I like to do it live. I will be a lot more honest because I'm not worried about being polished or perfect. So if you need to hear something, I'll say it the way that you need to hear it so that you are encouraged to make the right decision, okay? You're your own agent of free will, but this isn't the right time just yet. Okay, for number 2, let's see what's coming through. Queen of Wands, but she's reversed. So she's one of my favorite queen cards, and I love that they chose the cat to come through front and center. Cats are magical. They have the ability to land on their feet, even in a tricky situation, and they represent the sort of liminal space between where you are and where you want to be. Now, she's like think of your favorite magician, or it's kind of hard with like Wicked because they all have their angle, but I guess Elphaba. But like, so think of your witch or wizard. She has the ability to fix a problem that no one else can. And part of this involves thinking outside of the box, trying something wildly different. So I think one of the things right now is to not overthink things, because in reverse, she can be narrow. Like, it has to happen here, it has to happen there, it has to look like this. You have to listen to me. So what we want to do is open it up. You may benefit from bringing in a second set of eyes and ears to give you some insight. If it's a yes or no question, it's a yes provided that you are open and you are listening and you don't overthink, because it feels like it could go smoother and be more well received. So read the room, but you definitely have what it takes to take it the distance. And don't worry about perfection. That little cat in the corner has 9 lives, and it's not on its 9th life yet because it's here. So there's probably one more chance. You can always brush yourself off. and come back from this, okay? There could also be for some of you a little bit of doubt in leadership. Can I articulate myself? Will people follow me? Practice makes perfect. So continue to practice, continue to work on this, and I think you're going to feel better about it. So this was a not yet. This is a yes, provided that you keep an open mind and really allow yourself to see all the paths, because there might be something easier. You might be making it harder than you need to, okay? Now let's go on to those of you that chose number 3. It's the only one that was upright in this particular trifecta, and it's a resounding yes. So not yet, yes, but with some caveats, and this one's just yes, full stop. So now is the time. This is a card to basically activate. That's what you see here. I'm using the kids' tarot. So he's roasting a marshmallow. But this is representing an idea that is taken to, brought to the finish line. What are you doing to follow through on your instinct, on your hope, on your dream, on your ambition? Now is the time to sort of if you're not doing anything, it's time to activate. There's a very nice conducting energy with this one. So it may not be the same boss level as the Queen of Wands, but it still is roll up your sleeves, articulate things, and show people this is how it's done. What else do I want to talk about with this? Speaking of that, this is one thing where you may not be able to delegate it, because I am really very much being shown rolling up the sleeves. So you have, for this one, at least to initiate it, it has to be you. Queen of Wands, she can boss someone else around. This one, it has to be you. It's well worth it, though. I'm looking at the little marshmallow at the top. So something sweet comes of this, but you have to follow through on this. And at the initial phase, it needs to be you turning the ignition, okay? Good stuff. So hopefully that helps those of you that need a little bit of advice. By the way, this can also be a new opportunity or your idea being well received, because when we look at an ace, the hand could either be receiving or giving or requesting, but we see movement around this. So it looks auspicious, folks. All right, I'm gonna remove all of this, and I don't always do this in this, so we're adding one last bonus, and then I'm wrapping up because I have other videos to produce tonight, which I will do. But I'd like you to think of a final question that you have, something where it's a bonus. I'm giving you a bonus one, in case you need one more. Okay, time to move on. We have the Death card here, or Journey, in this deck. And change is the hardest thing sometimes. And by the way, beautiful full moon on this one. It's a little bit graphic, but there are certain cards in tarot that need to be. The Death card needs to get our attention. The Ten of Swords needs to stop us in our tracks, right? And then there's beautiful cards like the Lovers to show us that this is something good. This is very much giving full stop, period. Next. So the encouragement is to release and to embark on something new tomorrow. But there's one last little scrap of something that you're holding on to. Clear that, clean that, and then you can move forward. Also, I love that this is called The Journey. It is not about the destination always. Sometimes it is just about the journey, about getting there. I'm going to pull the traditional one while we're talking for a second, just so we can see it. Because there's a couple other things that I want to mention with that, and then we're going to wrap up. These are just fun and shorter, because sometimes I do a marathon. Sometimes I do a shorter one so we can all get what we need quickly. But with Death, while I find it, what you want to remember is it's never too late and it's never too early to make the change that you want. There's a universal nature. It was the very last one in this one. There's a universal nature that's inherent to the Death card. So any phase, any stage of life, now is the day to make the change happen. And it is a card of movement. It is a knight, a different kind of knight. So move forward with the change. Be the change. Be the agent of change. It's more powerful. Okay? And happy full moon, everyone. Thank you for showing up. I want to take a couple of moments here just to remind you how to connect with me. First of all, to make sure that you never miss out on a special impromptu like this, we're going to have another one this week. Make sure that you give me a follow on other social media platforms. You can go to my website when I'm all done. All the links are there, but it's always my full name, as you can see on the major platforms. Right here, it would help to hit the thumbs up first and then subscribe. If you'd like to show some support, you can become a member. You can also give a super sticker or super chat. And for those of you that can't do it because it's, I guess, restricted in some places, you can also do PayPal. And now I'm going to give some gratitude for everyone that showed up today and maybe celebrated a anniversary or gave a sticker, and just give you a little bit of love for doing the aforementioned. So I don't think we have anyone tonight, so it might be fast. Let me look here real quick. Yeah, we don't have anyone. All right. So thank you for showing up. Take care of yourselves. And again, I'll see you this week for a special live stream with the format to be announced. Until then, much love and light. Have a good full moon.